Hey people, this is going to be some excellent stuff here. I'm definitely going to move it up to my main channel when they unlock it. But it's going to be good. I don't think you're going to mind if you happen to click on it again and watch it again. I was looking at this word that digimatized it in when I found this. I run up in Colossians 2:15. But as I was reading down, I run into this, and the whole chapter is really easy to read. But this at 8 just has all these words that you recognize. And some of them they got right, some of them they got wrong. And it's teasing this word kata here. It's using it 3 different ways. Even though it's here according to 3 times, it's only according to 1 time. It's talking about stoicism. And it starts here, believe it, much it is, whom as this tie of. Believe it, take heed. Much, not less. This is the other word they try to give no, but it's not as much. Much it is. Tis, ancient English for it is. Whom as this tie. The person is connected to what I'm saying. You there will be. Hey, you there. You is who I'm. This tie of a Sulagogan die is philosophy as. To keen is a path scatter. So this agog in here, agog is to lead on, agog on, and a synagogue is synchronized together, joined to lead on, synagogue. But a solagogue is a self, a solo, a one, the one skin you're pushing through. And believe it, much it is, whom has this tie of the one skin in this life to push through. You can see this death here, die through this. This is usually the word that just say is the before earth, but it's die, it's through this, what we're going through, this life, whatever it means. This philosophy as, and the one to lead as through this philosophy as, to keens a path, and the S goes over here to scatter. Keen is a sharper, or a cleaver. A keen, to keen your way through. Keens. Believe it, much it is, whom has this tie of the one leading through this philosophy as, to keens a path scatter, to cuts a path scatter then parados in, just parados on in, tone on thereupon, the fashion, the color, the tone, what he's saying, the tone on thereupon, cater to. He's catering to Stoicism. The Stoics, they at of cosm of, the cosmo, and of according to Creston. His one leading through this philosophy as to cleave a path, sharp, be wise, sharp, a path to scatter, then parados in, a tone to cater to Stoicism, what see to the cosmos, and according to the Creston. Cater to Stoics, I of cosmo, and according to Creston. The Creston is the top of something. Also the crest, the top of a coat of arms. But on the coat, you have your motto on the top, and the crest is the highest part of the design. So it starts this chapter just 2 lines above here. He's talking about Christ. In him walk, having been rooted and being built up in him and being strengthened in the faith, just as you were taught, abounding in it with thanksgiving. And then believe it. This believe it is also bleep it, playing with the words. You can believe it or you can bleep it out. And believe it, much it is, whom as this tie. if you associate it with what I'm saying. And so what it's actually saying is what it was saying above here. Of syllogogon, a syllable is the one small piece of sound information in a word. Syllogogon. You syllogogon, leading on through. And believe it much it is whom has this tie of syllogogon through. This philosophy as too keen as a path scatter. He comes in and he cuts every other philosophy down. Everybody scatters when he throws some of his knowledge in there. And then he just parados in, tune on thereupon, and wearing the colors to cater to the Stoics. So Jesus was Stoic. The Stoics, at of cosmo, move, to of according, the cries it on, the crest on. And then it changes very little when you read it through the second time. There's very few marks, 1, 2, 3, just 4 words that read backwards and change the meaning a little bit. And now it's believe it much it is to mama's boys, to mama's yet says tie. He's still in mama's basement. Of goggin now. It's the Scylla, the one to lead through. Goggin is walking the foot, the goggin. Lead walking through. And then now it's just, instead of this, it's that it's philosophy as to keenness, Ken and E and then NSS, the keenness. It a puppet has, according to then, parados in. Instead of tone, now it's, totin', what's in his hand. Totin', no port in on thereupon. And so that's either, no port in on thereupon, as in male, or no port in anther upon, on the anther. Catered to Stoics, you have an extra E in here, EYE. The Stoics, it over to the egg, the cosmo, the cosmic egg. Toa at over the egg of the cosmo. V, vow, V-O-W, the vow, according to Creston. And so Stoicism was named after the teachings of somebody who taught against the Stoic wall, is what they say. But I believe there's a reason that it was on that wall. It was an open public place, it had a roof on it and a wall, but it was an open place. And it had this artwork on the wall. And it had all their soldiers on the bottom, some names of the generals, and then all the names of the gods on top, and all the actions going on between. And then a huge word over here in the corner that I haven't tried to read yet. Looks like it must be about 50 letters there. So it was founded by Zeno, the 3rd century BC. And he was asserting that the practice of virtue is both necessary and sufficient to achieve eudaimonia, flourish by the means of living an ethical life. And Stoics identified the path to eudaimonia with the life spent practicing cardinal virtues. Eudaimonia, they're going to interpret that as welfare, happiness, or welfare. Who through monia, and the suffix monia meaning thrift, virtuousness. Catered to the Stoics' eye at the egg of cosmos, to over cosmos. So I ran into this looking for this word here, and that's where I found it in the story of the birth of Jesus. It only comes up twice, and that's what it is digitize them, put them in numbers, and that's why that big word on the bottom. And so these word meanings here, having disarmed, is A peck does 'em in as. A peck does 'em in as. You give him a little peck on the cheek and he's disarmed. Having disarmed. To sorts as. And to sects of see as. And the authorities, they're going to, once you lift up your dress and make sure you're a woman, what to sects of see as. And when this reads backwards, it's what is says, what sects of see as. The authorities. The digimatis in. Digimatis sounds like numbers to me. In the Pharisee, the triumbuses. That's where your word ambulance come there. Ambue is smells, ambience. That's where that word comes from. And the three ambuses. What to us in ought to. And so down here it's talking about, he's trying to get in her pants or get under her skirt. But this word having disarmed, when you turn it around, it's so in mass whittle. The K-E turns into the L. The whittle, papa, P-A-P-E, and papa cadues 'em. The papa cadues 'em as, having disarmed them. So in mass whittle, to whittle down the masses. The whittle, is connected through, when you're whittling wood, is the little pieces on the floor is WDL. The whittle, Papa Caduzi, the biggest, the father of Caduzi, men as. So the last thing you want to do is get disarmed. That's what happened to Hecate here. She got disarmed. If you want liberty, you better be watching both sides of your back and don't give up your arms. Ambient, relating to the immediate surroundings of something. And they don't want to relate this to ambidextrous or amphitheater or amphibious because they try to say that am in there means two. But it means more is around. And when you read this backwards, you see that that's where this word Ambien comes from. Sleep medication. Ambivalence, having mixed feelings, not one but around. So in mass whittle, Papa could does 'em in as. Two sorts as, what two sects of see as. In situm guided, they game it is in. And made show of him the game it is in. Ben far as sea is here rappa. Three ambules as a suit what who's been oughta what to. What you ought to do, oughta what to. But this is only 2 times this word comes up. It's spelled different each time. And I could tell it had something to do with numbering, digitizing. And that's why I went and looked into it. But I'm reading it again here in the story of the birth of Jesus. And it's got some big old words in there that we'll recognize that they've been translated a little bit off here, the meth. And see how this peril of Ben and apparel of in changes when the gynecology got you. And it'll give us an excellent definition of this spelling with Jesus when it ends with the N. All through the Bible, when somebody gets named, it tells why they were named that. And it doesn't here, but it does. They just didn't translate it. And thank you, Lucky Truth. The Antichrist received your package.
Don't forget. I won't forget.
Alright, I'm going to cut this off here. Good day.